I think someone should check on the team at Ravensburger because they have been awfully busy of late. Last week they were at Gen Con. Next week they're going to be at D23. And this week they decided to drop a bunch of news in our lap, including an announcement for what could be the biggest moment for Disney Lorcana of the last 2 years. Now, we will go through that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about some of the other news of the week, starting with some changes to format Coconut. That's right, our brand new multiplayer format is already getting a few upgrades. Now, in case you did miss it, we made a video last week with everything you need to know about Coconut, including what exactly is a coconut. Putting it simply, this is an ability tied to a specific card you choose from a curated list. Ravensburger has done some beta testing of them at Gen Con last week and realized that two of them needed an upgrade. First up is Robin Hood Sneaky Sleuth. His original coconut ability was once per game during your turn, you may deal 1 damage to each opposing character. This has now been upgraded into a 2-part ability. The first part reads, at the start of your first turn, you may play an item card named Robin's Bow from your collection for free. First off, let's establish what Robin's Bow is. This is an uninkable 3-cost item that has 2 abilities. The first one is Forest's Gift. Exert the bow and deal 1 damage to chosen damaged character or location. Second is a bit of a lark. Whenever a character of yours named Robin Hood quests, you may ready this item. Important to note here is that this copy of the bow comes from your collection, not your deck. So you actually can still have another copy of the bow in your deck, even though Coconut is supposed to be a singleton format. So the other part of Robin's Coconut ability is whenever you play a character named Robin Hood, deal 1 damage to chosen opposing character or location. I think, of course, this new ability for Sneaky Sleuth pairs very well with Robin's Bow. And I think the strategy here is you want to run the most amount of Robin Hoods you can, which means you really only have one option. So you start with Emerald because you have to, since that is the color for Sneaky Sleuth. Then you add in Sapphire and Steel. So Emerald lets you run 3 other Robin Hoods in addition to the 4 copies you have of Sneaky Sleuth for a total of 7. Then Sapphire and Steel each give you another 4 Robin Hoods, so you'll have a grand total of 15 in your deck. This number does feel a little light for the ability being so dependent on Robin Hood, but I think it could work, especially if you're running a lot of that draw and discard effect that you get in Steel. This will help you cycle through your deck and get to those Robin Hoods as quick as you can. The other coconut that got changed was Mufasa, Ruler of Pride Rock, and I'm actually kind of excited about this one. His original ability was a little bit underwhelming. Once per game, during your turn, you may pay 5 ink to put the top 3 cards of your deck into your inkwell, face down, and exerted. Now, I did say in last week's video that I wasn't a huge fan of this because I don't like once per game abilities, especially when they're tied to you as the player and not to a specific card. So I'm really excited about this change. Now his coconut ability is once during your turn, you may pay 5 ink to put the top 2 cards of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. So at the same cost, you get a slightly lesser effect, but it is repeatable. I don't really think there's an obvious strategy that you want to run with this. Repeatable ramp, which you always have access to, is a great ability, and it can enable almost anything you want to do with it. And for me, I've actually spent the last week trying to figure out a Floodborn Matters deck. I love the Floodborn strategy from Big Hero 6 we saw in Azurite Sea and Arcasia's Island, and this was in Emerald and Sapphire. There wasn't really anything before that worked with it, but I think this change to Mufasa is really going to help that out there. So to that Sapphire and Emerald, I'm going to add Amethyst because Amethyst actually got some great Floodborn enablers with Attack of the Vine. So I'm going to have to try that out, test it out, and hopefully get a deck pick up in the near future. Still on Coconut, speaking of Attack of the Vine, the team behind this beta test did confirm they're working on other Coconut abilities, and they will be revealing them periodically throughout this test phase. And they did tease that the next batch of Coconuts will be from Attack of the Vine. So lock in, get ready, it's coming. Moving away from casual, let's talk about competitive Lorcana. Of course, we are still in the midst of Season 2 with regional and world championships still to come, but we are already starting to get hints about what the upcoming Season 3 is going to look like. Earlier this year, they did reveal that the theme of it would be Season of Villainy, so all the promos and prizing would in some way be connected to the rich lore of Disney's villains. And this week we got our first taste of what that's going to look like with this beautiful new artwork for Mother Knows Best. Now, it is meant specifically for CCQs, that is the Challenge Championship qualifiers. There were quite a few of these in Season 2. I actually got to play in one myself here in Las Vegas around Thanksgiving time frame. The good news is that Season 3 will have even more of them, and we'll have more prizing support, which obviously we can see here. All players will be getting a non-foil promo of Mother Knows Best. Top 3 finishers will also get the foil variation, and top 8 finishers will get the playmat. That's really not a ton of information about Season 3 for Disney Lorcana Challenge. I'm sure we'll get more information as we move closer towards Season 3's start. But in the meantime, let's move on to the other big event that's happening upcoming next week. It's D23. It's going to be August 14th through the 16th in Anaheim. This is a huge celebration of all things Disney. It's put on every 2 years by the Walt Disney Company, and they will have announcements from the gamut, movies, TV shows, parks, and of course, Ravensburger as a Disney partner is going to be there, just like they were 2 years ago. Back then, attendees could get their hands on a D23 collection, which featured one card from each of the first 6 sets for Disney Lorcana in a special art treatment. This time around, the D23 collection will be a little bit more selective. We have one card from each of the ink colors in a special promo treatment. The cards we know of so far are Angel, Siren Singer, and Pocahontas Following the Wind. These are both from Winter Spell. Mushu Stealthy Dragon from Attack of the Vine, which just came out a few weeks ago. Judy Hopps Uncovering Clues from all the way back in Whispers in the Well. And Mr. Incredible Taking Out the Trash from Wilds Unknown. 5 cards revealed so far in 5 different ink colors. That's one card left, and you can even see here in the art that it has been blanked out on purpose. And I have a theory about that. First thing off, let's state the obvious. This card's got to be from the next set, Hyperia City. That is a set we don't know a ton about yet, only that it will feature the in-game debut of Coco, and it's going to release mid-October. This is not new. We saw them do this with the last set at D23. 6 cards from the first 6 sets, but only 5 of them had actually been released. That was our first look at Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which came out in Azurite Sea. So this, nothing new, not really that exciting. My theory here, though, is that this card is either going to be something particularly powerful, which I really don't think is going to be the case, or it's from a crazy new franchise they're not ready to give away just yet. I will restate that Hyperia City is coming out mid-October, so this is prime spooky season. That's why I think Coco is a fantastic franchise to debut with its ties to the Land of the Dead, half the characters being skeletons, the fact that it centers around Dia de los Muertos. So I wouldn't be surprised if this card is from another franchise with close ties to this time of year. We saw that last year with Whispers in the Well that came out a few weeks after Halloween, and we got the Black Cauldron, Gargoyles, and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, all very thematic, very flavorful. And that leads me to think that we're going to get something similar for this set. Personally, I would love to see the Haunted Mansion. I think the characters, settings, and stories found not just in this ride, but from all across the theme parks would be a great addition to the game. But I'm not going to hold my breath just yet. And if we eliminate that, this really leaves us with only 2 options. For me, the lesser of them is Hocus Pocus. Though I will state that Villainous, which is an excellent Disney board game that's also published by Ravensburger, did just add the Sanderson sisters as a module. So possible. I think we will get them one day in Disney Lorcana, but for me, the more likely option here is Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I really think it's possible because you've got a franchise with deep ties to both Halloween and Christmas. If it debuts in a set right before Halloween, and then you can add to it with a set releasing just after Christmas, it really fits thematically. So if that missing Ruby card turns out to be a version of maybe Oogie Boogie, but more likely Jack Skellington, I absolutely will not be surprised. Now, this beautiful D23 collection isn't the only amazing product that attendees will be able to get their hands on next weekend. You'll also get early access to Quest of Wonders, which is a beautiful looking book that's set within the realm of Lorcana. It will come along with a absolutely gorgeous promo of Pegasus searching high and low. I think the art on this is fantastic, and the journal entry aesthetic, I really hope we get to see this again. Don't worry if you missed D23, this book is releasing September 1st, so coming very soon. You can also get a foiled version of the Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard playmat. That thing's just going to be insane. My son has the regular version. No chance we get the foil version. It's going to be pricey, I think. Then there's also the D23 stamp promo of Woody, Leader of the Toys. Usually they give these out when you make a purchase. These kinds of cards are always highly valuable and extremely collectible. Every card that has that D23 promo stamp on it is worth anywhere from a couple $100 all the way up to $1,000 or more dollars. So if you can get your hands on them, hold on to them. They are extremely valuable. One note that I will make is that the Ravensburger booth, in order to manage crowds, won't let you just get in line and buy stuff. There is going to be an online queue, so you'll have to get into that to get your chance at some of this stuff. So do keep an eye out for that if you're going to D23. This leads us to one last thing, and like I said at the beginning of this video, it could very well be the biggest moment for this game of the last 2 years. So let me take you all the way back to the previous D23. This was August 2024. Ravensburger made a presentation giving us a roadmap of what the way forward would look like. This is when they teased a couple of major franchises that had not yet joined the game. They said Black Cauldron would be coming in 2025, Pocahontas would be coming in 2026, and then also dropped the bomb that Pixar would be coming to the game in 2026. Now, all of these things have come to pass. Black Cauldron came in Whispers in the Well last November, Pocahontas in Winterspell earlier this year, and then Wilds Unknown brought us our first look at Pixar. It's time to do it again. So mark your calendars for August 14th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. This is when they'll have the quests ahead for Disney Lorcana TCG. I'm not entirely sure what to expect with this. I think some franchise announcements are for sure. There will be an explanation of the accidentally revealed collectors boosters that will join the product lineup starting with Into the Ink Dark at the beginning of 2027. And if we're going to be getting a major shakeup, like, say, franchises from the parks or something like Nightmare Before Christmas or Pirates of the Caribbean branching into live action, this is where we're going to find out about it. Now, I have heard a rumor that this event is already capped. I am not sure on that one. But if you can't be in the room, either because it's full or because you're not at D23 like me, unfortunately, the good news is this will be streamed live on twitch.tv/Disney Lorcana. It is the same channel that they do weekly lorecasts on. So once again, mark your calendar for Friday, August 14th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to see what the way forward for Disney Lorcana looks like. That was a ton of information, and I hope it's made you as excited as I am about what's to come with this game. There's so many things to look forward to, so many franchises we haven't seen yet. I absolutely cannot wait, and I plan on being here for the long haul, sharing it all with you. And if you want to be here for it too, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our other Lorcana content, like this video right here, where we talk about a beta test for Format Coconut. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.